Well, hello, welcome to my channel. So the car you see behind me has been a project for a little while, and I'm embarrassed to say my project has cobwebs. So in this video I'm going to drive it forward. We're going to take out the right hand side accumulator, which lives down there. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, so to recap a little, the accumulator seems to be leaking, at least dripping down or pouring down where that hose fitting goes in. If you have seen the previous episode, you'll see I replaced that hose. So the first thing I'm going to do is reverse, and then I've got a couple of hoses to remove, or pipes to remove, one rubber return line by the looks, and a high pressure fitting, and then some bolts on the side. So first thing I'm going to familiarize myself is what an accumulator looks like outside the vehicle, so I can see where those bolts are and what to expect. Okay, sit rep. The hose was very easy to take out. And you can see I've got the spanner on that hose pipe there. And what's good about it is it passes through the chassis rail, so the access to this one isn't terribly bad either. Yeah, and I've been able to get a bit of a decent bite on it, so. Still a little fiddly. So this is the way. I can't quite. Yes, again. What am I even looking at here? There we go. Yeah. All right. There we go. So there's this connection here to get off. Screwdriver again through the chassis rail, and 2 bolts here, and then there's one at the back. got the safeties on with all this brake fluid dripping around. Okay, so the last one took me a while to find, but it's up there. So it's there. I think I'll get a socket on that. Yikes! Should disconnect the battery when you're playing around the starter motor wiring. Success! We have it out. So let's do a really quick inspection. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the leak was coming down here. I feel like the leak might have been coming out of that. Hello, Jake. What are you doing? Oh, away from me, please. I'm trying to do my work. Good boy. Away. Good boy. Come on, away. Good boy. Seems tight. Curious. Okay, so I got the unit out of the car, and I'm sincerely hoping that this isn't a red herring, but this is the hose which looked like it was leaking at this fitting, and you can see there's all this trace of castor oil / brake fluid. It comes right up to here. There's no trace around these fittings at all, although I may be convinced there's something happening there. But it looks like there's some material around here, but this is literally the way it sits in the car, so I can't see how you'd have gravity feeding of the juices down this way. It is kind of undercut though, it kind of more sits like that. Okay, might do a bit of research. Okay, final diagnosis. Given that it's wet here, wet around here, I'm going to assume that there's been a O-ring inside the valve body that shut itself. So my next step will be to get this out. I don't have the tool for that. It's a 1-inch. It'll be effectively a 1-inch hex drive. I don't have any 1-inch head bolts. So that'll be the next hurdle. I'll head out to the tool store at some point, but I'm going to park it there for now. All right, now I'm not sure exactly what this is going to achieve. I've slept on it and slept on it, and come to the realization that I don't think it's leaking from here. I think it's leaking from the hose fitting. Maybe I didn't do it tight enough, but I wouldn't forgive myself if I didn't, now that it's out, take a look. So I've got this 3/4 inch driver, which I've checked does fit in there. What I'm going to do though is step it down with a 3/4 to 1/2 inch, so I can then use a rattle gun. It is coming out. Let's check it out together. All the Rolls-Royce aficionados probably screaming at me not to disassemble. Let me get a clean cloth. I'm going to get a picker. Let's see. O-ring. A little bit of gritty shit in there. Doesn't look terrible. This little bit of grit there. That doesn't look great to me. Just a puller of some sort. I'm going to come back to this piece. It looks like a badly minted coin. That's a bit squashed. The edge looks like it's worn off. Can do some research. Okay, so I checked the forums. The sealing disc isn't really a sealing disc. Can be reused. Rolls-Royce says throw it away, but the forums say just reuse it. It doesn't do anything other than hold the spring in. So yeah, I'm just going to put that back in the way it came out. The O-ring looks fine. It doesn't have any signs of damage. I was looking for blowout, but yeah, there's nothing going wrong there. So I'm just going to put it all back together, leave well alone. I'm not going to rebuild it. There's no evidence that there was a valve body problem. My issue was that there was a leak coming down here, and I think I just didn't tighten it up enough. So I'm going to put it all back together. Yeah, lucky I checked. That's the front of the motor, so it goes this way. I'll be buggered if that leaks, hey. One more nip. It's done. That'll do. Okay, I think I'm going to put it back in. Now you saw how it came out. You're not going to learn much from it going back in, nor am I. So just a return hose on there with a clamp, high pressure hose here. I'll clean those threads and 3 bolts, and then that hose goes up to the fitting at the top. Oh, and the little mounting bracket here. Okay, I've got it all buttoned back up in the car. Front wheels back on. Let's crank her over, check for leaks. Bring the thunder. I think we're good. What I am going to do though is this is the pressure switch for the rear circuit. That's not illuminating at all, so I'm not getting a red light, but I know the globe's okay. I'll show you in a sec. And what I've got on the front pressure switch, which is down there. What I've got there is a light that won't go off. Now, I don't know that it's due to the fact I've not bled it yet, but I'm going to take both switches out and give them a bit of a service. Okay, so the reason I want to do this now is that the system hasn't been bled yet. That could also be contributing to the warning light on circuit, the front circuit, circuit 1. But yeah, if I open this up to get these sensors off, obviously going to introduce air, so that's a wire on the end. Incidentally, it took me ages to actually locate this. I was looking under the car everywhere, and finally just had to resort to printing out a page of the manual. Okay, I'm going to get a 1-inch onto that and we'll get it off. Okay, let's depressurize this at the bleed. Don't necessarily want Yeah, I've already cracked that off, by the way. Just didn't want to get a hydraulic injection. Right. Let's get that apart on the bench. There we go. Loads of crud. We'll clean that up. Put it back together. From that one switch. Alright, I'm going to lay them out in correct order from reference and I'll bring you back. That's the sequence. Let's get it back together. Question mark. How does that feel spring loaded? Let's get it back out. Let's drop it back in again. Dude, cross-setting. It's better. Okay, we're looking for brake pressure number 2 light to come on, because that has not been coming on. That's a result. Now let's crank it up and see if it goes out. Okay. Not worried at this stage. Oh, there it goes. Because I do want to bleed the lines, but I'm going to take this pressure switch out now. Do the same. Okay, best access here is to remove the intake hose and that little auxiliary heated hose. And that gets you in here quite easily. That's where the switch is there. So that's where the auxiliary air comes in, and this is where that main tubing goes from there to there. I tend to get ahead of you, so sorry about that. Okay, so we're all back together again, and no real surprises with that pressure switch. Cylinder 2, circuit number 1. Well, I'm going to cut it there, folks. This particular job has been weeks in the making, and I'm on the home straight now, so I'm going to make a part 2 of this, and we're going to go through a bleeding system, how to bleed the system, which is yeah, it's a little convoluted, so I'll bring that to you soon. Thanks for watching and take care.